first off, just give us your feeling about how the game went and from what you saw.
I just feel like the game, we went out there on offense and executed. That's all like the coach wanted us to do, was start fast and finish fast and like execute our plays. And the line went out there and blocked very good. Like, gotta congratulate them boys, gotta congratulate the whole offensive staff and everybody on the offense, because we just came to play. And the defense, like they had them couple bad balls, but them boys came back and like they locked it down. So you gotta get them boys, like, you feel me, appreciation too. So like you just gotta get a whole team, the coaching staff. Really this week we was locked in from that loss. So I appreciate them boys for coming back and bouncing back from that.
102 yards on the ground, and obviously that 91 through the air. Is this the type of performance you wanted to see from yourself this season? Have you been waiting for this?
I mean, I felt like I ain't even do enough, but you feel me? Like I told coach, I ain't here for that. I'm here to win. We trying to go 1-0 every season. So whatever I can contribute, whatever I gotta do, every game we trying to go 1-0. So as long as we win, I can have 5 yards. You feel me? If I'm the decoy that game and we win, we won. I'm happy with that.
Johnny, it feels like every single week we're talking about you almost breaking off a big run or a big pass play. This week, you obviously get the 89-yard touchdown. What did it feel like to finally get that big time play? Especially a play like that, 89 yards, and there was no one around you.
It's just the connection. We had to get our chemistry down pat. Like, he come to me a lot, so we just had to get it down pat, and he found like how to get me the ball in different ways and stuff like that. So I appreciate the coach. I appreciate Kosi for believing in me, because I didn't even know he would go throw that ball really. You know what I mean? But he threw it, and on my number call, I gotta make that happen.
Was that the reason why you kind of bobbled the pass a little bit?
Yeah, I didn't know it was coming to it. I didn't. I wasn't expecting it, because the last few games, like, they was bracketing me and stuff like that. So I came out like that, which you can't have that mindset. But I know once I got it in my hand where I was gonna do though.
Johnny, being new to the FIU rivalry, but being a South Florida guy, were you pretty tuned in as to how important this was against this team for your teammates?
I was tuned in more for the team than me, because I'm a newcomer. So like they some of them been here for 4 or 5 years, so they know like more than me. Like it hit them more than me. So like I just tried to stay around the ones that was here for 4 or 5 years this whole week and try to like feed off their energy. Like them boys was coming, like them boys like this a rivalry game, and I done been a rivalry at my old school, so I know how it is. So I know like, and then it's a new season too though. This is our first conference game, so you gotta set yourself right.
Johnny,
Couple more here.
Johnny, what were you told about the rivalry game from some of those older guys that kind of gave you some energy going into this game?
They was just like, this is one of them games. Like, this is one of them games where we got to be hitting on all cylinders. And like, they was just like, one of them games that we got to be on our A game. Feel me? So like, I did my research and stuff. Like, I watched film. Feel me? But from that, I already knew like what we was gonna do. Feel me? So I depended on the O-line, the quarterback, and the coaches. And they made it out.
And then you just mentioned your chemistry with Kosi Perry. How is it just seeing him being able to make plays out of basically nothing at some points where the pocket's kind of collapsing out of him and he's able to make those throws? And he had that big throw to you. How important is it to have that quarterback like that?
Like, congratulations to him. I hang with him outside of this. So, we talk a lot. Like, we talk more than, I try to be like his other iPhone. And bro, he appreciate that. He listen and he take heed of it. And one thing about him, he a competitor too. So it's like, he don't want to lose and I don't want to lose. So if you got like 2 people back there that don't want to lose, it's going to be hard. He just like to compete. So if he finds something open, he go deliver, because that's just what he do. You feel me? He like to compete.
All right, one more, last one.
Obviously it's a big game for this team because of the Shula Bowl, but also the start of conference play. Do you think this is the start of something big for this team?
It been starting something big. Just by like how we worked in the summer, we knew like how we was gonna come way before this. We just had to settle down and show everybody. Like I said, like we started off slow in the beginning of the season, but this conference play, and like coach wanted us to start fast and finish fast. And like I told y'all boys, like I appreciate the O-line, the coaching staff, and the quarterbacks. I appreciate the whole offensive side just for, feel me, coming to play. I appreciate that. They gave me the energy for the Shula Bowl.
Okay, John, thank you.
Oh, it's on me?
On you.
Man, what a win. What a win. That was a great win for our football team. Great way to bounce back after the way we played last week. And very proud of our guys of doing that. And again, challenged especially our offense about coming out and playing fast. You know, something we hadn't done all year. And it was great to see our guys come out and do that from the start, from the first play, executing that play and then just carrying on from that point on. And it just showed what they're capable of doing, and more importantly, when they focus, when they practice that way, you get good results off of it. You know, and I thought Nicozzi played outstanding. I'm glad he played outstanding because the way that he worked this week was the way he's supposed to work. You know, we got back from Air Force about 8 o'clock in the morning. At noon, he was in the office trying to get better, learning what he did wrong, and it was like that all week long. And there's no surprise that he played the way that he did.
You know, speaking of Cozy, you kind of saw that he left the game with maybe a hand injury. Can you provide more clarity on what happened?
Yes, he had a cut on his throwing arm. He could have came back in the game, like he got stitched up, but we was fine with Nick. You know, Nick came in and did a great job. And again, another example of someone that prepared. Even though Nick not the starter, he prepares like a starter. When you watched him go in, it wasn't a letdown. I think every drive he was in there, he let us down to a touchdown. You know, and that says a lot. And I hope a lot of our younger guys pay attention. You know, for a guy that again not playing, but he's preparing to play and to go in and play the way he did was outstanding.
How important was it to set the tone with that first drive touchdown for the first time this season, just to set the tone for the game and kind of get the pedal on the gas for the offense?
Well, it was important that we execute the plays. You know, when you go back to when we did bad, we just lack of execution. You know, the plays were there. We just did a poor job of executing, and then our guys they were dialed in. You know, the coach made a great throw. B-Rob made a great catch, and again, that set the tone from the beginning. And again, that's how it's supposed to be. And again, I was just excited about how our guys stayed focused and went out, especially offensively, and executed the way they did.
And then with Johnny Ford, he had almost 200 yards of all-purpose yards. He just blew up today. What do you have to say about his game and what you saw from him, both in the passing attack and the rushing attack?
Well, we knew coming in, Johnny can be a weapon for us in the run game and the passing game. And it was great that he caught that pass and scored. It was funny because he wasn't even looking when the ball was thrown, and Cody did a great job of just putting it on him. If he didn't, he wouldn't have caught that ball. It surprised him actually, and it shouldn't have. But it's one of those things, man. The good Lord was with him that day. He caught that and he did the rest. He finished it off, and it was great. And Johnny's one of those kind of players. He can be a weapon for us in both the run and the pass game. He showed that tonight.
Speaking of Cozy, I mean, you saw him kind of get more comfortable when the pocket was collapsing. He found those short windows to get those passes in. How good is it that he's at that level now to where he's making everything kind of look easy now, even when the pocket's collapsing on him?
Well, he did that today. Last week, he didn't ask me that question. You know, it's totally different, you know, but I think what you saw is someone that prepared his tail off of his game and someone that didn't want to disappoint his teammates again, you know, and someone wanted to get better. He was ticked off the way he played, you know, and again, I'm happy because it didn't take me to have him, make him come up and study. He wanted to do that himself. He wanted to get better himself. He showed that to his teammates. He showed it to his coaches. And again, that's just a vet, a guy that's an experienced guy that understands what it's going to take to play big-time college football and prepare. You know, and for him to only have 3 incompletion, he was prepared. I mean, he knew the game plan inside out. He made checks on the field. He did everything for us, and it paid off.
Coach, I do have to ask. Obviously, that 2-point conversion attempt. You know, what's the play design there, the play call there?
It was again, we had a chance to throw it out there, or we bring guys back in to kick the field goal. You know, if we have numbers out there, then we want to throw it out there and get 2 points, and if we don't, we'll bring them in and kick the extra point. And unfortunately, we didn't execute that well. You know, the guy that was supposed to block, the person that got in the way, we didn't do a good job of executing it, so it didn't work that time. And, hopefully it works next time we run it.
Coach, the number of explosive plays.
How many was it?
obviously- Pardon?
How many was it?
I get it.
We lost
A
count.
lot over 20 yards, but I guess my point is not only does that energize the offense, but when the defense sees that, does that energize them in what was at some point a tight game?
Well, I think our offense scoring and doing what they're capable of doing, I think it got our defense excited because they knew what offense was capable of doing. Our offense did that. Well, we saw tonight our offense practice that way all week. They did it against our defense this week, the same thing, and it showed up. So I think the defense was just happy that offense was doing what they know they're capable of doing, and defense understand when offense playing that way, they can pin their ears back and just fly around and play ball, and I was really excited about our defense because after that Air Force game, and you guys didn't ask me in the week, and I didn't tell you because you didn't ask, but we have some guys beat up from that game, and you play games like that, especially early in the year, and then come around conference game and your rival, we had about 3 guys out, that contributed on defense that didn't play in this ball game. So it was good that those other guys stepped up and helped our defense out because we had some major players on that side of the ball that didn't play in this game.
Besides being the Shula Bowl, it's obviously the start of conference play. I mean, how important is it to have this type of win, some of the bounce back win from last week, especially again the start of conference play?
Well, we talked about those first four ball games was kind of like preseason, and we didn't necessarily end preseason the way we wanted to, but the real season started, and we needed to come out and make a statement of who we're going to be and what we want to be, and we want to win the conference championship, and we understand every game matters, every game is important, and you got to be locked into that game that's at hand, and our guys were locked into it. Of course, it was a rival game, but it was also a conference game, and it was something that our guys, a goal of ours, what we want to get accomplished, and I'm proud of our guys for getting it done.
Coach, speaking of that, about rivalry games and playing against people that you know. And from the local area, there's about 21 kids who will play with each other from Palm Beach County, Treasure Coast. So they were all seeing familiar faces. What do you think it meant to those players to see faces that they know on the other side and play in such an important game like this?
Well, I'm sure they've been talking all week. I'm sure with social media and all those things, they've probably been back and forth all week, and it's fun when you get to go out and compete against your friends, and it's even better when you win against them, because you get to talk for a whole year, you get to have a bragging right for a whole year. But those games like that, they're fun games. I had some of the players over there that I recruited before, they were talking to me too. That's like, man, this is crazy, but it was fun. It was all good, and again, it was part of a rivalry game.
The defense obviously gave up 21 points in that first half, but nilch in the second half. I mean, how would you evaluate them and how those halftime adjustments? How do you think they did?
Well, I thought overall our guys did well. They did one thing we set out to do from the beginning, and that was stop the run. Our guys. So that part was mission accomplished from that standpoint. We wanted to keep Price under 100, and I think our guys, he had 34. So that was pretty good on 16 carries. I take that. But the thing I always talk to our defense about each week, and it's so critical, is we can't give up big plays for touchdowns. When they do catch them, we got to get them down. We got to tackle them, and make people earn those touchdowns. So I was disappointed that we gave up those big plays for touchdowns because that's not how we play, and our guys understand that. If we make someone work, it's hard to score on our defense, and we made it easy by giving up those big touchdowns.
I have a little bit of an unorthodox question here.
Just a little bit.
So Carter Odell got playing time on defense. I mean, he's a guy that got brought in as a walk-on and was on special teams, but now having him as a guy on defense, how important is it to have a guy you brought in as a walk-on, now contributing in different areas now? And is he a guy that might earn a scholarship soon?
You can ask Carter that. It's on him. I'm not giving him out. You got to do something in order to get it. So he know if he take care of his business, he can earn it. And the rest of those guys understand it too. And I think that's the reason why you see him out there, especially on special teams. He's one of our best special team players out there. And it was great got real up and he got a chance to play a little bit in the secondary. That's only going to help him get better. Him playing football is going to only help him get better, and have experience. We love Carter, and he's a big part of this team. And I mean, you watch him on special team, he's all out. He's so passionate about it. And I know everybody, his teammates, was excited to see him back there at safety. I was screaming at him every play because I wanted him to get a pick. Like, Carter, just watch his eyes. Find the quarterback, just go watch his eyes. I wanted him to get a pick. But we're proud of Carter. I'm happy for him, and he's going to continue doing what he's doing.
Okay, now you've delved into the pockets.
7 o'clock. I know I got home at least 7 a.m.
All right, question for
So,
Nkosi?
Nkosi, when you look at the sheet at the end of the game, you see 704 yards of offense. That's got to make you smile. Is that what you would call hitting on all cylinders?
I'll definitely say that's hitting on all cylinders.
Why were you so successful tonight?
First off, I think we had a great week of practice. Like Tuesday through Friday, everyone was locked in from the beginning to the end of practice, and yesterday's practice was the best practice all week. We went out and did a 2-minute drive. We ran 2 plays in the entire drive for maybe a total of 10 plays on the drive, but 2 design plays. And we went up and down the field. We scored. We only needed a field goal, but we weren't going to settle for anything less. And when we did that yesterday, I knew we were ready to go. Like, we had the attack mindset, and we came in prepared. We were able to run the ball today, which was huge for us. And anytime we can run the ball, I think we'll be successful.
In a game where you win by that many points, it may seem odd to say, but the first play of the game, you dig deep into the bag of tricks. Did that somehow, I'm not going to say send a message, but did it sort of set the way you guys were approaching this game, like all out?
Yeah, that definitely set the tone for us. We knew that's what we were running all week long. We knew we was gonna come out with that, and if we hit it, sparks, we were ready for it.
Nkosi, obviously, I think one of the more impressive plays was that touchdown to Jaquan, where you kind of rolled out to the right and threw, I think, a perfect ball in the back of the end zone. What were you seeing on that play, and what made that play, so impressive for you?
To be honest, for that particular play, he's not even in my progression. But once they got a little penetration and it broke down, once the play broke down, one thing I try to do every time I leave the pocket, I always try to get my eyes back downfield before tucking the ball and running, and that's what I did. And the coaches were hard on the receivers this week about the scramble drill, because last week we felt like guys were walking around while the play is going on, and it showed tonight. The scramble drill worked tonight because he wasn't in my progression.
We were talking to Johnny earlier, and he said he didn't see that touchdown, that throw coming. It says, which is why he bobbles it and stuff. But when you saw him wide open like that, his speed, your eyes just kind of light up, and you had to go towards him.
Yeah, he's my first read on that particular play, depending on the coverage. And I seen it come wide open. When I threw the ball, I saw that he wasn't looking at me, so I was definitely nervous. And then he went to bobbling it, so that even had my heart racing a little more. But once he caught it, I knew he was going.
Being new to FAU, how important was it for you to just kind of soak in stuff from the veterans about the rivalry game, and then kind of just after the game seeing everybody excited, being excited after the win? How is that Shula Bowl victory for you?
I'm still soaking it in, to be honest. I can tell since Sunday, I can tell that this is a huge game to every player that's been a part of this FAU team before I was. And I didn't want to let these guys down. From what I know, from my understanding, everyone on this team never lost to FIU, so I didn't want to be the quarterback to come in here and be the first one to lose and send the seniors off that way. So it was huge for them, it was huge for me, but I'm just glad we got the win for the seniors to send them off right.
Nkosi, you guys have been able to really effectively use play action this year, and especially today, I think there were a couple plays you guys used play action to really open up the defense. What does that element add to your offense? Especially in games like this where teams might get a little more aggressive with the way you guys were running.
Right, it's huge. We got guys who can run, so anytime we can get the safeties up or the linebackers up the field, that's a great thing for us. That's why I say anytime we can run the ball, I feel like we'll be successful.
You obviously caught a ball tonight. How'd that feel?
I mean, it felt great. I wanted to score so bad on that. I only got a few yards on it, but it was fun. I know that.
Yeah, you would have had a touchdown on receiving, passing, and rushing, man. I don't even know if anyone done that before.
When it comes to that play, during Wednesday's practice, I saw you guys do that, and then I don't know if you remember, you told me, don't tell anybody about that play, and I did, and it worked out, obviously. But when it comes to those kind of trick plays, do you think, obviously, when it comes to the defensive side, that kind of catches them off guard and you can have more of an effective drive?
Right. It definitely, in my opinion, catches the defense off guard. We ran a trick play later in the game with Nick Truney, and they were ready for it. But the one I did have, we practiced it all week. It worked all week, so that's why we were confident enough to run it.
And one more thing, obviously, you left the game, it seems like you had a hand injury or an arm injury. Can you kind of elaborate what happened there?
When I threw the ball to Jaquan Burton on the dig, I hit it on the top of, I think, one of my offensive linemen's helmet or something like that. But I didn't notice it until maybe like the end of the drive. I looked at my hand, it was bleeding and stuff. I had to get a few stitches, but I'm fine.
All right, thank you.
Is there a feeling that winning this game and winning it by that margin?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Last go around for the seniors, and going out like that with that kind of win was just amazing. You see everybody in the locker room happy and excited. Especially for the seniors, just their last go around.
I have to ask about that interception that you had. I mean, when you saw the ball in the air, obviously you must think, did your eyes light up when you saw that ball coming your way?
Oh yeah, most definitely. The ball came my way. My eyes got wide. I had to lock in on it. But when the ball was in there, I just knew. I was like saying to myself that this is mine. I gotta go get this one. Especially after the play that happened before the half and stuff. Giving up a touchdown. But as cornerbacks, as safeties, cornerbacks, no matter in the secondary, gotta have a short memory.
You mentioned that in the first half you guys gave them 21 points, and then you guys do that throughout the rest of the game. What were the halftime adjustments that the secondary had to do, that the whole defense had to do?
We just went in at halftime, made a couple of adjustments. Coach Stoops, our defensive coordinator, came in, was saying that we was getting hurt on this play, and we just made a couple of adjustments, came back second half and corrected it. Everybody was executing on the defensive side.
Zyon, it seems like Evan Anderson got to the Shula Bowl trophy first. He didn't get a hold of it, but
Yeah.
was the first one there. Do you think he cheated?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Evan had it. He had it. For him to be there first, something had to be going on.
All right, anyone else?
I was telling a couple of the guys after the game, I was like, bro, just being able to participate. And we had like a player led meeting Thursday, and I'm just letting the boys know, like, it's for the seniors for the most part, man. But for me, I just felt like I waited for a year for this game, and the intensity that I came into this game with, and the passion that I stepped on the field with. As soon as I had a chance to, I had to spread the energy where I could, and just make sure everybody was on the same page. And the guys had a lot of energy themselves, so just being that light for everybody else when they needed it. I felt like that was one of my roles this week.
Kiki, they were able to hit a couple big pass plays, but when you look at, they average less than 3 yards a carry, and that's kind of their bread and butter. And a lot of stuff they do off the run. So were you guys determined to take that part of the game away from them?
Oh, most definitely. Coach Taggart talked to linebackers before the game. He was like, we don't need 24 to have many yards. Yes, sir. We made that a big emphasis. Him, 3, I think, and 21, they had pretty good games against a couple of opponents before. We made that an emphasis. They were not going to be able to run the ball, and we put our foot down when we needed to when it came to the run game. Passing game, over time it got better. Like Zyon said, our defense coordinator, Coach Stoops, he came in and he let us know, all right, guys, we getting hurt on these plays. We need to, adjust and tighten up a little bit. We took that as a challenge from him, and we brought it home in the second half.
I asked Nicosia or Johnny Ford about this. When the offense is hitting that many, your offense is hitting that many explosive plays, obviously they're excited, but does that get you guys fired up too?
Wow, man, it's just like, it's almost like a dream come true. It's like hearing an ice cream truck come down the street, It's almost like a sweet treat every time, like just hearing the crowd roaring, I told somebody, I was like, bro, it's been so long since I heard the crowd this happy, like on the drive, and it just, wow. Like, yeah, that's it, I love that.
So do you guys think that this is the start of something sort of maybe new for this team? Obviously, you come off a loss, bounce back in a huge way. Obviously, the start of conference play. I mean, what's the end goal for this team?
Of course, you know, our end goal is to come out with a conference championship, but we take it week at a time. This was a great start to start conference playoff 1-0 and, you know, a blowout against our rival, you know, the Shula Bowl. So I feel like the guys coming in the next week, as well as myself, you know, we coming in with great confidence, and we're gonna step down a little bit just so we can know we have another opponent next week. But at the same time, we're gonna enjoy this for 24 hours. Next opponent, day by day. You know, repetition makes perfection. That's what I believe. You know, so yeah, it's a great team win and great way to come into the conference 1-0.
Kiki, obviously, you know, you guys struggled stopping Air Force's rushing attack, you know, last week. What was said during, you know, meetings with the defense to kind of make sure that didn't happen again?
Oh, it wasn't a lot that needed to be said. We had a pissed mindset. You know, we were upset about it. We wanted to make sure that other teams knew that it's a point of emphasis with our run defense. And we might have had struggles against Air Force, but that will never happen again this year. We came in with a different mindset this week during practice. We made sure everybody at least touched the ball carrier. No matter where he ends up, if it's a receiver, go touch the ball. We've been working on running and stripping the ball every time, and we didn't get 3 turnovers, I don't think, but one. Yeah, we didn't get 3 turnovers, but that's something that we're putting a lot of emphasis on going into each week, working on it. You know, just training yourselves, making it a habit. So.
The fact that, you know, after last week, the fact that it was this rival and the first conference game, was that helpful in getting you guys locked in?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I feel like it was a great way for the young guys, mostly, to lock in, because they understood how much it meant to the older guys, and we made sure we put an emphasis, like, bro, lock in. Like, do y'all know who this is? We don't even say their full names. The school down south, or FIU, you know. But we just made sure they understood the meaningfulness of this game. We made sure that they took reps as if they were ones too. So when they got the opportunity, they weren't going to let up a touchdown or a long drive, and they did a great job at that when the guys got in and towards the end of the game. So, you know, I'm guessing it, you know, paid out. You know, I'm happy about that.
You know, for Coach Taggart and Coach Stoops and some other defensive players, they were saying how a huge thing they wanted to do this week is stop the run. 69 yards total, one of the best running conference USA running backs. I see your face. 34 yards. I mean, how special is that for the defense?
Amazing, because that was one of the things we put a huge emphasis on this week. We knew they were a good passing team as well. They have a good throwing quarterback, so we knew at the end of the day he had good receivers that could catch the ball, and, you know, they had a couple good passes today. So we just made sure to eliminate the run first, because if they can't run the ball, we know the only thing they can do is pass the ball, and then we can lock in on that. And if they go back to the run game, we're going to get right back to what we originally game planned for.
What else? All right, thank you.